All right, let's do this thing. And good morning. This is Ralph back for the Home-Based Business Success Podcast. And you can find me online at ralphlindy.com. Today we've got a topic, a very important topic, I think, for anybody that's in sales. Anybody in any position that deals with sales, whether that be online sales, face-to-face sales, network marketing sales, sales of any kind. And this is the Go for No mindset. And this is just a basic introduction. Now, I've gotten these ideas from two books by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. The first one, Go for No, in which they lay out the entire Go for No theory. And actually, it's more than just a theory. If you've actually tried it, you'll find out that it works. But yeah, it's the basic Go for No mindset. And what the book is called, it's Go for No. Yes is the destination. No is how you get there. And it's written by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz. Now, the first book that I mentioned, the Go for No book, is told in a story format. And it's kind of like a sci-fi, alternate reality type story format where this guy falls into an alternate reality, meets himself, and finds that, you know, he's taken a totally different turn in his other life, and his other self tells him, you know, why he's become so successful. And they go through the entire Go for No philosophy told in a story format like that. So that's what that book is about. Now, the second book that I also highly recommend, Go for No for Network Marketing. And this one is written by Richard Fenton, Andrea Waltz, and co-authored by Ray Higdon. And the Go for No for Network Marketing book, it's not really told in a story format like the Go for No book. It's more of a presentation of the Go for No philosophy, how it works, and then it is interspersed with stories from real live network marketers who share how the Go for No philosophy has worked for them. So again, another excellent book. I highly recommend both. And they're both relatively short books. I've got them on audio, and I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and get them in print. But they're available on Kindle, available on audio, available in print. And any way you get these books, I mean, they are fantastic. And they do a great job of explaining the Go for No mindset. I mean, in detail and in a very easy to follow kind of a way. What I'm going to do in this podcast, I'm not going to go through the entire book, but what I'm going to do is just go through 5 main points that I think are very important in describing, in introducing the Go for No mindset. And the Go for No mindset is kind of counterintuitive to what we've been used to thinking, especially in motivational circles where motivational speakers want to get you fired up and want you to imagine, you know, close your eyes, imagine that you go up to people, you ask them to try your product, try your offer, you know, become a member of your team, and imagine them saying yes, and just imagine the word yes, 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 over and over again. And then people try that, they psych themselves up mentally, and they want to hear the word yes, and then they go out into the real world, and of course, you know, free will kicks in. If you had some magical power where everybody you talked to said yes all the time to whatever you had to offer, free will would go out the window. I mean, we live in a world where we have free will. Free will needs to be respected. We're not out there trying to manipulate people, and we're not out there trying to psych ourselves up to become mind control experts like some sort of weird Jedi Knight salesperson, where we want to make people say yes to everything that we have to sell. No, free will would be totally out the window, null and void, if that were the case. So that's really why the mindset where we train people to imagine other folks saying yes all the time to them, it's really just a pipe dream. It's really just wishful thinking. Because in the real world, people are going to say no. We are going to hear the word no a lot. We may think that we have a really great product. We may think that our product, our service, really has the power to help people. But not everybody is in the mood to say yes. At least not right away. Maybe not ever. People need life insurance. But who wakes up in the morning thinking, oh my God, I really need to buy more life insurance? You have to have car insurance to drive. But not everybody wakes up in the morning and thinks, I really need to get a better car insurance deal. I mean, how many people wake up in the morning with that thought? Probably zero. And even 400-pound people, 300-pound people, people that need to lose weight, they are not going to be receptive to some person selling weight loss solutions. Not all the time. They may not be ready to hear that quite yet, or they may be interested in losing weight, but they just don't think it's possible. So no matter what you have, what you're trying to sell, people are going to be saying no to you for a variety of different reasons. And, I mean, the number one reason is just chalk it up to free will. People have free will. If they don't want what you have to sell, they're going to say no. And we have to respect that. The go for no philosophy, the go for no mindset, really respects human free will. And it's a very realistic philosophy. It says you are going to hear the word no. If you're in sales, if you're trying to make sales, you're going to hear the word no a lot. And the go for no mindset is there's nothing wrong with hearing the word no. If a lot of people are saying no to your offer, doesn't necessarily reflect on your ability as being a salesperson. It doesn't reflect on you being a bad person. It's just people are not ready to say yes quite yet. Maybe you did give a bad presentation, but sometimes we give bad presentations and people say yes because they're ready to hear that. And that bad presentation was all they needed to kick them over the edge, get them off the fence, and to say yes to that particular offer. But the go for no mindset really says that, okay, you're going to hear the word no, so get used to it. And more than just get used to it, get to the point where you enjoy it. And the first part of the go for no mindset is when you're trying to go out, trying to get sales, trying to get people to join your team, buy your product, try your service. Set the number of no's that you want to hear for that day and make that your no quota. And the no quota, this is something I missed in my first couple of listenings to the Go for No book. But the no quota actually is a brilliant strategy. Because what that says is, okay, you set your quota for the day. And you try to be consistent. Don't just do it one day and quit. But, make it day after day after day. If you want to work 5 days a week, then, make it 5 days a week. If you want to be a real go-getter and go out there and do it 6, 7 days a week, then keep the same no quota for that same time period. But, people may choose to start off low. They may think, okay, I want to hear 5 no's, a day, and we'll see where that takes me. Other people be a little bit more ambitious. They'll say, okay, I want to hear 10 no's a day and see where that takes me. And the real high achievers, they are of the mindset, I want to go out there, I want to hear the word no to my offer 20 times per day. And according to Ray Higdon, those are the people that go on to become the top earners in any company. The folks that set their mind to hearing the word no 20 times a day. But you can start the number wherever you want, wherever you feel comfortable, and stick to that quota. And you see how this works is you go out there, you hear the word no, let's say 10 times. You don't feel bad about it because you met your quota. Okay, so you turn something that most people think of as being a negative, being told no, which is really, it's not a negative at all. It's just a part of life. People have the right to turn you down. People have the right to say no. People have the right to say, hey, I'm not interested. You're a nice person. It's a great product. I just don't want to have anything to do with it right now. And that's their right. But when you set your no quota, you turn something that most people think of as being a negative, and you turn that into a positive. You can sit down at the end of the day and you can think, I made my quota. I made my no quota. I heard no 10 times today. I made my quota. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And you see what happens when you set your mindset to that. You're not wanting to give up every time you hear the word no. You just want to keep at it. It's one person said no, fine, they're not interested, going to move on to the next person. And that person says no, fine, they're not interested, move on to the next person. And you just keep going and going and going. And somewhere along the line, in between one no and another no and another no and another no, eventually you are going to hear the word yes. You are going to be going from people that are not ready for your offer, people that may need your offer but don't want your offer, or people who just don't really need your offer to begin with. You're going to be jumping from them, and if you get turned down quickly, that's great because you can move from, one no to the next no to the next no more quickly, and get to that one person that is ready to listen, needs your offer, is interested in your offer, and decides to say, yes, I want that, where do I sign up? And so, the more that you condition yourself to hear the word no as something positive, okay? And the more quickly you're able to go from one no to the next, the greater your odds are of finding that person who is going to say yes to your offer. And the mistake that a lot of people make is they hear the word no a few times a day, or even just a few times a week, and it zaps their enthusiasm. See, we are so conditioned as adults to hearing the word no and thinking of it as a negative, and thinking of ourselves as a failure because we couldn't make a sale. And, you're not a failure. It's just that person was not ready for your offer. But a lot of people will lose their enthusiasm. They will begin to think bad thoughts about themselves and feel badly about their abilities as being salespeople, and they'll quit. And after 2 or 3 or 5 no's, they'll quit. And that could be like 5 no's a day, or in some cases, 5 no's a week. And then people reach the conclusion before they've even really started that they can't do it. I'm not cut out for this. People are saying no too often. And in sales, it used to be a rule of thumb. For every 1 yes that you heard, you had to hear about 10 no's before that 1 yes. And I don't know if that rule of thumb still applies. People nowadays are a lot more jaded, a lot more cynical than what they used to be back when that little rule of thumb was invented. Now it might be 20 no's before you hear that first yes. But the neat thing about the go for no mindset is that it tells you hearing no is okay. It doesn't reflect badly on you. Just go out there and do it. You're going to meet your no quota. And the thing is, and this is the second point I want to cover, when you're thinking in terms of meeting your no quota, when somebody says yes, and you've only heard like 2 or 3 no's for the day, when somebody says yes, that's great. Okay, you're signing somebody up. You're potentially making a sale. Maybe you have made a sale. Things are going great. What do a lot of marketers, a lot of salespeople do when they get a big sale? What's the tendency in, let's just call this a go for yes mindset, where you want to make like 1 sale a day or 2 sales a day or 3 sales a week, whatever. What's the tendency of the average person that has a go for yes mindset when they make a big sale? Well, they want to quit. I mean, not quit because they think they're a failure. They want to stop for the day because, they made that big sale. And it's Miller time. It's time to celebrate. Hey, I made this big sale. I can slack off. I can just go party, go play golf, whatever it is you like to do. And just say, everybody, I made my sale. I made my sale. And now I'm quitting for the day. Isn't that great? The go for no mindset keeps you going, because if you've talked to 5 people, 4 people have said no, 1 person said yes, and you have a no quota of 10, well, you've only heard the word no 4 times. So even after you've made that sale, you still feel motivated, you still feel driven to hear the word no another 6 times for that day. So you have the motivation to keep going. The go for yes mindset, where you're focusing on hearing the word yes and not the word no. Once you make a big sale, you hear the word yes in a big way. Yeah, it's party time. You want to quit. You want to stop. You want to celebrate. But when you're operating from a go for no perspective, you've got your no quota. And you're keeping track of your no quota. How many times have I heard the word no today? 4 times? Okay. I got a yes. Okay. That's great. That's nice. I made a sale. Now, I still need to go out there and I need to hear the word no 6 more times before I can quit for the day. So it's the go for no mindset. The brilliance of this is that you're taking something that almost every adult thinks of as being a negative, being turned down, being told no. It takes that negative, turns it into a positive, and it really is. It's taking a more realistic look at life. Because, no matter how good your product is, no matter how good you are as a salesperson, people are still going to turn you down for a variety of different reasons. Nobody goes out there and makes 100 sales by talking to 100 people in one day. I mean, that would be great if you could just go, the product practically sold itself like so many people claim. But in the real world, people have the right to say no, and they exercise that right. So there's nothing wrong with being told no. And, sometimes people will change their minds. People will say no one day, and then 6 months later, their life circumstances will change. And they'll be thinking, maybe I should have listened to that person that was trying to sell me this online business opportunity. And if you follow up with that person 6 months later, maybe you'll go from a no to a yes. But that's another video. That's another audio. That's another podcast. Let's stick to the go for no mindset here. But yeah, being told no does not mean no, absolutely not, no forever and ever and ever, amen. A lot of times it simply means I'm not ready for this. And they may become ready for it at some other point in time, but it's not really a negative. It's just the person saying no to your offer, and it's neither good nor bad. It simply is. But with the go for no mindset, you take that thing, that rejection, that thing that most people interpret as being rejection, and you take it from being a negative, turn it into a positive, and that gives you the rocket fuel to keep on going even when a lot of people are saying no to your offer. And you see, the thing is, too, that with perseverance, with going for like 10 no's a day or 20 no's a day, you may start out as a really bad salesperson. But you know what? Getting good at being a salesperson, it's like a muscle that you exercise. And the more you try, the more you exercise that muscle, the stronger it's going to become. So, yes, you may suck as a salesperson in the absolute beginning, but the more you try, the more you do it, the more you work on your presentation, the more you begin working with people, and the more comfortable you get talking to people, the better you're going to become, and the faster you're going to go from being a really sucky salesperson to being a star salesperson. The thing that really separates the beginning salesperson that sucks and the seasoned pro is practice. Practice, 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 practice. You know, in anything, 10,000 hours of practice, you go from being a rank amateur to a seasoned professional, an expert. So just keep going. And the go for no mindset really serves as a fuel to keep going. So get your no quota, stick to your no quota, and don't stop after making a sale or 2 sales. If you haven't made your no quota for the day, you keep right on going until you meet your no quota. So, third point here. Do not be discouraged. And this is part of the go for no philosophy. This is the positive, a real positive point of this. Do not be discouraged. Just go from one failure to another failure with no loss of enthusiasm. That's a quote from Winston Churchill. He was asked, "What is success?" And Winston Churchill said, "Success is going from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." Because Winston Churchill, he didn't call it the go for no philosophy or the go for no mindset, but he was a realist. He knew that you didn't start something and just start out as an absolute genius and as an absolute winner. No, he knew that the road to success was paved with failure. Multiple failures. A lot of very successful people are people who have tried and failed numerous times, but they didn't quit. They went from failure to failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. They learned from those failures, and then they found their success. So yeah, do not be discouraged. Again, you know, a lot of us, when we hear the word no, our conditioning as adults is to think there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with my product, there's something wrong with my company, there's something wrong with my presentation style. But the go for no philosophy says, don't be discouraged. Keep on going. Reach your no quota for the day, and then, you know, go ahead, call it a day, call it quits, go to bed, wake up the next day, and try again. And keep that enthusiasm. And this is the fourth point of the go for no philosophy that I've gleaned from just the first few chapters of the book Go for No, is go from hating no to not minding hearing the word no, to absolutely loving the word no. Go from hating the word no to just falling in love with the word no. And some people may think, okay, how can I do that? And why should I? Why should I fall in love with the word no? I mean, people are turning me down. People are rejecting me. Why should I love that? Well, again, it goes back to the idea that before we hear the first yes, we have to go through a certain number of no's. Maybe 9 no's, maybe 10 no's before we hear that one yes, or a series of yeses. It may be 20 no's or so before we hear a yes or two. But when you accept that in your mind, that you're going to be hearing the word no a lot before you hear the word yes, then hearing the word no can be seen as a positive because, okay, this person rejected me, this person turned me down, this person said no to me, and so now I get to move on to the next person and try again, and if they turn me down, I get to move on to the next person, and it's like you're just crossing off the number of miles before you finally reach your destination. It's like you're on a long trip, you know. And you think, okay, boy, I got to go 50 miles. And boy, that's a long ways to go. But after you've gone your first mile, okay, that's under your belt. Feel a little bit better about the journey. Go 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. You're a lot closer. You go 49 miles. Hey, you're almost there. It's almost time to call it quits. You've reached your destination. Hearing the word no can become like looking out the car window and counting the mile markers. You know, only 2 more miles to my destination. That's great. I'm feeling charged. I'm feeling enthused. And you can really, with the right cultivation of mindset, you can go from hating the word no, dreading the word no, to really not minding the word no, and then take it one step further and just fall in love with the word no. And this is a concrete example from the book Go for No. In that book, they tell the story of a businessman, a salesperson, that received the award for being told no the most times for that sales period. And he was given an award for being, told no the most of any of the other salespeople in that organization. And a lot of people might think, okay, why is that a good thing? They're giving out a reward to a guy who was told no the most number of times. And they said that is a good thing because that same salesperson, not only did this person get the award for the most no's heard in one sales period, he also got another reward for the most sales made in that same sales period. So you see where this is going. Hearing the word no multiple times is not bad. It is if you let it stop you. But if you don't let it stop you, if you just say, okay, I'm going to hear 10 no's, 20 no's, I'm just going to hear a lot of no's, and it's going to be great. This is going to be a great day because I'm going to hear 20 no's today. Well, in the process of getting those 10 no's or 20 no's or whatever your no quota is, you may likely get a sale or two along the way. And then it starts to hit you. Yes is the destination that we want to get to in sales, but no is how we get there. The no's are kind of like the mile markers when we're on a long trip. And the more of those mile markers that we see pass, as we're driving down the interstate, the more mile markers that we see whiz by us, we know the closer we are to that final destination. And with the go for no mindset, it's the same thing. You hear the word no 2 times, 3 times. Don't be discouraged. in a Facebook group I was once a part of. One person went in there and was complaining. I heard the word no 5 times this week. I'm a terrible salesperson. What am I doing wrong? And the truth of the matter is, this person was doing nothing wrong. They weren't going out there and talking to enough people. And the correct answer to what am I doing wrong is, instead of hearing 5 no's a week, you should be trying to hear at least 5 or 10 no's a day. And just keep on going. If you heard 5 no's, go out and get another 5 no's. Go out. Try to hear the word no 10 times. Try to hear the word no 20 times. And if you hear enough no's, eventually you're going to start hearing yeses. So that's the final point. And this is really how the book starts out. It's in the title. Go for no. Yes is the destination. And no is how we get there. Don't try to take shortcuts. There are so many sales systems out there that realize that we have a phobia out there. Well, let's just call it a no phobia. People are afraid of hearing the word no. They're noophobic. Hey, that's a new term. I just made that up. Noophobic. Are you noophobic? But yeah, we have a lot of noophobic people out there. They don't like hearing the word no, and they're afraid of it. And there are a lot of marketers out there that take this into consideration, and they try to present the softer, easier way to making a lot of sales. The system practically sells itself. You don't need to be out there making human contact. You don't need to be out there talking to people. Just buy a lot of solo ads, buy clicks on your link, and that approach can work. Gets kind of expensive because buying good clicks is more expensive than just buying cheap clicks. Buying good solo ads can work. They are kind of expensive. You may be spending $5 per lead to do it that way. So it is kind of expensive. But I think an easier way, a cheaper way, and a more realistic way is just to condition yourself that, yes, if I want to do well in sales, I actually have to talk to some people. And I have to talk to some people every day. And you may do that, an easy way to do that is on podcasts like this or in videos on YouTube. But that doesn't really count because, nobody says, I can't hear people say no to me. Unless they leave me a nasty comment. Not something I want you to do, but yeah, unless somebody leaves me a nasty comment, online or on my video or podcast, I really can't hear people saying no. In order to hear that word no, in order to get the go for no mindset going, you have to talk to people, you have to get to know people, you have to let people get to know you. And when you got those factors working for you, people are more likely to say yes, but they're still going to say no a few times. But if you get used to the idea that you're going to hear the word no, and that's okay, and you're not embarrassed, and even if somebody just turns you down hard, like they say, get away from me with that Ponzi scheme, scam, crud, I don't want to hear that. You're a bad person for selling this, and this is a bad company, and I just want you to go F off. You get a really hard rejection like that, don't worry. Person was probably having a bad day. Maybe that person was just a ordinarily cynical, jaded, negative type person to begin with, and you just caught the full fury of their venom and wrath. But, that stuff happens. That stuff happens just, I used to work as a cashier in a grocery store. And I'd smile and say, have a nice day. And some people would just say, don't tell me what kind of a day to have. I mean, really. They would just spew back some negative, toxic venom. Have a nice day. What's good about this day? Everything went to crap this day. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, even just wishing some people a bad day can get you, a good day, can get you into hot water. So if you get turned down and you get turned down hard, don't worry about it. That's just life. That's just how things go. And some days you get a lot of people loving on you. Some days you get a lot of people hating on you. Nothing wrong with it. Just go from one day to the next, from one no to the next, from one failure to the next, with no loss of enthusiasm, and just keep right on going until you fulfill your no quota. And then along the way to fulfilling your no quota, you are likely to hear the word yes, a few times, maybe once, maybe a few times. As you get better at sales, your rejection rate should go down and your acceptance rate should go up. That just comes with time and practice. But even the best salespeople are going to hear the word no several times in a single day. And just set your mind that you're going to be loving the word no, and you're going to just go for no. One final point I want to close with. This isn't one I'd planned on, but as far as handling rejection, in our business, we've noticed an interesting trend. Is that sometimes we do get turned down hard. And on a certain network that we are on, working as advisors, we will, every once in a while, we'll get some person that gives us a bad rating, gives us a single star, and just say, oh, this is a terrible, terrible, terrible advisor. Don't talk to this person. Don't talk to these people. They're terrible, rotten, terrible. And just leave some really bad written feedback for us and give us a single star. And sometimes they'll say, I'm only leaving 1 star because they don't even deserve that, but I had to leave at least 1 star to be able to leave a rating. But you know what happens when that happens? And these days it doesn't happen very much. It used to happen every few months. And now it happens like once a year. But what we've noticed is after we get rejected hard, like that publicly, a lot of good people will kind of come, and they'll want advice, and then they'll leave positive feedback. They'll leave a 5-star rating, and they'll say, wow, this person is the best advisor. Talk to this person. They're great. They're the best. Very compassionate, very good, very caring. The best on the network is what we're told oftentimes. But a lot of that praise comes right after we've been rejected and turned down hard in public. And see, the thing is, if you quit after you're turned down hard, you close the door on being rejected again, but you also slam the door shut on those positive people that might be out there to give you some proper praise, to give you some good feedback, some good ratings. People that are your good customers or will become your good customers and just think that you are fantastic. So if you quit after being turned down hard, you're closing the door on all those other people that will benefit from you. Your company, your offer, your product, you. Learn to identify with the product and service that you are out there selling, because in the final analysis, people really don't buy into a company. They don't buy into an opportunity, but they'll buy into you once they get to know you, like you, trust you, and then they'll start looking at what you have to sell, what opportunities that you are in, what products that you have to offer. And once they decide, they like you, then they may decide to become a client. They may decide to become a customer, but it's a process. And again, yes is the destination. No is how we get there. But if we stop after hearing a couple of no's. And if we hear some devastating, rejection, some devastating words, people can be quite cruel. And if we hear some devastating feedback, get a devastating review, somebody really tells us off big time, cusses us out, and we take that to heart and we quit, then we'll never succeed. But if you're able to just, slough it off, like water off the back of a duck, like water under the bridge, if you're able to just let it go and move on gracefully to the next person, then I think you're going to find, okay, you're going to get one or two, what's a proper word I can say, a-holes. You're going to get a few a-holes, a few times a week. But, I don't think anybody's really going to have a steady diet of a-holes. You're going to find some good people out there, too. The trick is you don't stop after you've experienced the a-holes. You keep right on going till you find the good people, till you find the people that are open to your offer, till you find the people who are going to start saying, yeah, I'm interested, I want to learn more. And then they may go from that to saying, yes, sign me up, let's do this. And so, just remember, the temptation, especially if we're afraid of rejection, especially if we are noophobic, we're afraid of the word no, the temptation is that we want to quit after we're turned down. Temptation is we want to quit after hearing that word no, especially if we've heard it a few times. But with the go for no philosophy, the go for no mindset, you turn that around. You figure out, okay, what's a good no quota? If I want to be an average salesperson, 10 no's a day, that's a pretty good number to work with. If you're not quite that ambitious, you want to start out with 5, see where that gets you. Maybe, start low, work your way up, whatever you want to do. That's a good place too, but don't stop after 1 or 2 no's. Meet your no quota. And if you're not making sales, grow your no quota. Expand your no quota. Go from 5 no's a day to 10 no's a day. If that doesn't work, 15 no's. If that doesn't work, 20 no's. If that is your sweet spot, stick with it. Whatever works for you. Whatever level of success you want to realize, go for it. But realize you're going to have to hear a few no's in order to get there. Ray Higdon is a powerhouse of a network marketer. And he shares that when he got started, he made up his mind he was going to hear the word no 20 times a day. And he pushed it. At one point he was looking up numbers in the phone book and calling people up and just trying to get 20 no's a day. And he went on to become $1 million earner, top earner in his company. And he's talked with a lot of other top earners, and he asked them, how many no's a day did you make up your mind that you were going to hear? And all the top earners said, 20 no's a day. That's where their sweet spot was. Now, if you don't want to be $1 million earner, 10 no's a day, dial it back, wherever you want to go. Some people are happy with being 5-figure earners. Some people want to be 6-figure earners. Some people want to be 7-figure earners. Just set your own level of success and then figure out how many no's do I have to hear per day before I reach my level of success. And then make that your no quota and go there every working day. And if you want to take off Saturday and Sunday, that's great. Whatever you want to do. Some go-getters may want to work 6 days, 7 days. But, whatever you're able to do, I think that is a good motto to live by. And just figure out, where do you want to go? What's your destination? And know that there's going to be a lot of no's that you have to hear before you reach that destination. And in sales, in life in general, the destination, life is the journey. It's not reaching a destination. And so just make that part of your daily routine. Don't think, okay, I'm going to hear 20 no's a day, and then when I become a millionaire, I'll quit. Nah, well, that's another podcast, too. Millionaires don't always know how to hang on to their money. And I've heard a few stories about guys that have become millionaires, lost it, and some bounced back and went on, and others did not bounce back at all. But, matter of fact, that will be a good topic for our next podcast. Rags to rags, and back to riches. You know, how to bounce back from rejection, how to bounce back from failure, how to go from one failure to the next with no loss of enthusiasm. That'll be our next podcast, bouncing back from failure. But to end up today's podcast, just set your mind. What do you want to succeed at? What's your level of success? 5-figure earner, 6-figure earner, 7-figure earner. Then sit down and figure out, okay, how many no's will it take for me to get there? Some folks may just set their goal at being 5 no's a day and stop there. Others may start there and then move on to 10. Others may start at 10 and then move on to 20. Really, it's up to you. But just set your no quota, get used to hearing the word no, and then get to the point where you're loving the word no. And then every time you hear the word no, it's going to be like rocket fuel. It's not going to be like a slap in the face. It's going to be like, oh, great, this person said no, so now I get to move on to the next person. And when you can adopt that mindset, you really do. You got the mindset of a top earner. A successful person, definitely, but potentially a top earner in any industry. It's all mindset. So set your mind to hear the word no, go for it, be happy with it, get energized with it, and go for it. So that's the Go for No philosophy, mindset, a basic introduction in a rather long-winded nutshell. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about bouncing back from failure, and today I'm going to leave you with a nice uplifting song by the group To Life. This one is called It's Alive. We'll talk to you later tomorrow. Best of luck. Thanks for hanging out with me. And may all your network marketing, business, home-based business dreams come true. Go for no.
We pray on the steps, the steps of the temple. We sing in praise, when the music is our prayer.
All night, all the beats, all right. All the beats, all light. All the beats, all light.
All night,
All the beats, all right.
all right.
All the beats, all light. All the beats, all and all and all and all.
Maybe it's alive. We pray